We are back with Patrick Olsen, editor-in-chief from Carfax, talking about all things cars. This person, I've never even heard of this before. My son was sold a car without airbags. Is that legal, and what should I do?
Well, I can't speak to the legality in particular in North Carolina, but unfortunately, there have been reports of people stealing airbags out of cars and then simply replacing the cover, selling the airbags to unscrupulous third parties. So I would take any potential used car that I'm considering seriously, whether I'm buying from a private party or from a dealership, take it to the mechanic and make sure that they give it a thorough going over.
This person's asking, how often should I get my oil changed? Isn't that always the question?
It is always a question, and there's different schools of thought. Like my dad was always a every 3,000 miles. That is no longer the case, and you should be the decider on how often it happens. So again, go to your owner's manual, and it's going to be different probably from the cars you bought 10 years ago to today. A lot more cars are using synthetic oil or semi-synthetic oil, which lasts a lot longer. The downside is it's more expensive, but if you're only paying 80 bucks once or twice a year as opposed to 40 bucks 4 times a year, it sort of evens out. But again, you got to check the owner's manual and make sure if your car does not need synthetic oil, don't put it in there. It's like putting premium gas in the car that doesn't require it. It's just setting money on fire.
Gotcha. Okay, so don't have it if your manual's owner, don't say it. And then the manual's owner, manual, okay, I'm just going to say that. That's the thing that you go by, not the little sticker that they put up in your car.
That's exactly right. Make sure you follow the owner's manual, the maintenance schedule directly, because again, that could void your warranty if you don't. And again, you don't want to overpay. You don't want to over-service your car. That's not going to help you either.
All right, should you get your tires rotated when you get your oil changed?
So I always do, because a lot of cars are front-wheel drive these days. And so that means that those tires are pulling your car, and they're also sitting under a very heavy engine. And that means they're going to wear much faster than the tires in the rear. So for me, I want to get those tires moving around the car every time I get the oil change, so I make sure that they're all wearing correctly, they're all wearing about the same, so I don't wind up with ball tires in the front and regular tires in the back.
And this person is asking, what does a winterized service include for a car?
Well, that's going to depend on your dealership, but what you want to do is, first of all, check all of your fluids. Make sure that your radiator is full. Make sure your brake fluid line is full. You want to make sure that your battery charge is doing well. That is one of the big things to do in fall, because your battery over time will lose its charging ability. And when you have a cold snap, you could wind up with a dead car.
Somebody's asking, should I mix regular and synthetic oils for my oil changes?
There's what they call semi-synthetic, which you can use. But again, I would go by what's in the owner's manual. If all it says is conventional oil, then use that. There's no added benefit from blending in some synthetic oil with it.
I know so often people are saying, I didn't even know my car had a recall. So what are some ways that they can find that out?
Well, so if you go to carfax.com/recall and either plug in your vehicle identification number, which can be found right in front of the driver's spot on the dash or on that door jamb sticker, plug in that information, we'll tell you for free whether or not your car has an unfixed recall. There are two types of recalls. All recalls are important, let me just say that first. But there are two types that we've been looking at this year called do not drive and park outside recalls. Do not drive is what it sounds like. The automaker says, park it, we will get a tow truck, we'll take it to the dealership, and we'll fix it. Park outside means they don't want you to park it in the garage. They don't want you to park it next to the garage. They want you to park it away from any structure because the risk of fire is so high. So using that free tool at Carfax, you can check your car, you can check grandma's car, you can check whoever is showing up for Thanksgiving or Christmas. And honestly, you can reduce a lot of danger, a lot of threat to them by checking that out.
And usually recalls are sent to the first owner of the car. But if you're a used car owner, you're the second or third owner, you don't get that.
Yeah, and the reality now is that the average age of a car on the road is 12.5 years. So we are on third owners, fourth owners, fifth owners, and tracking down those owners is challenging. Automakers want to fix these cars, but it can be hard to find those owners.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, for your wisdom and your expertise on this. Hey, if you missed any of these things, it's going to be in the 2 Wants to Know section.